black and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black and I'm black, y'all.
However, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking fucking news.
Well, you talk about, Goodfellas and the mafia movies, and the mafia theme has always been very big in your verses, and especially growing up in Staten Island, that's always been a mafia headquarter, with all the people that all the mafia dudes I've interviewed. And I guess when you were coming together doing the Cuban Links project, originally the project was supposed to be called Woo Gambinos.
Respect. Welcome back to Smitty's Corner, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. What we're going to do is we're going to take time and listen to an actual real life story of how we can portray whatever it is that we want to portray. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that there's a real life mode into some of the things that we speak about. Now, when we talk about being gangster this, gangster that, and I always, used to have that thought in my head, like, what's the real gangsters of the world? Like, how do they actually see this? All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got. Respect to you all. Let's go ahead and get it.
But then Steve Rifkin's father, who is somewhat affiliated with the mafia, got a call from the actual Gambino crime family. Raekwon wanted to call the album, instead of Only Built for Cuban Links, he wanted to call it
Woo Gambinos.
But then a phone call came in from the actual Gambinos. Tell me about this.
My father called me. Somebody called him and said they heard that, and they didn't want the name, to keep that name out.
Yeah. The Gambino Mafia, one of the 5 founders.
I mean, so that was, I don't know, like, I stayed out of that, and I told Ray, well, I guess Ray says it in the book, or
yeah, Ray says in the book, yeah. Yeah, basically you said, like, we can't use this name. And he's like, we cannot use this name. What would have been the repercussions if you had used the name?
I wasn't taking a chance.
Yeah, I mean, they was like, yo, you can't call no albums that, and this was a conversation that I had with Rifkin, because Rifkin's pops, rest in peace.
Now, the main thing that I am at this, particular time that I am focused on is I'm looking at the simple factor of, when we say, no, there is no cap. There isn't a limit to what we can do as Black people or people, period. Is there really no cap? Is there really no ceiling? Are you truly able to reach for the stars, hit the moon, and land in heaven? Is it possible? Or is it really a conformed structure that does, let's say, filter out what it chooses to filter out? I don't know. I'm just somebody listening just like you. Let's keep on going.
It's like we talking about a lot of people right now that perished is in heaven. So we want to salute everybody, because a lot of people that we talking about are not here today. So I definitely want to, give them their flowers and say rest in peace. But Steve Pops, he was connected. He had a lot of relationships. So I remember me enforcing the title on Steve and saying, yo, this is what we want to call it. We want to call it Woo Gambinos. And he like, yo, I'm going to look into that. And I remember him coming back to me and saying, yo, it's not happening. I'm like, what you talking about? What do you mean it can't happen? Gambino men, what? He was like, it's not going to happen. I was like, you serious? He was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And he just told me like, yo, they not having that. And if they are having that, then you know what they having. Once he said that, we ain't having it. So the name automatically was dismissed. you know, and we started to think of what we wanted to call it.
Man, it's a very interesting concept to go ahead and go by that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the second portion of this briefly. Okay. Much respect to you all. I appreciate everybody for tuning. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got on the second portion of that video, and let's go ahead and rock out with it. All right, now, so probably gonna have to. All right, y'all ready? Let's go ahead and get it. Let's do this.
Hip hop emulating the mafia, because as a kid, you know, I was born in '73, right? When I heard the term gangster, it was talking about mafia guys,
Of course.
right? And then in 1988, the song comes out by NWA called Gangster Gangster. I don't know if you remember the song.
I remember, yeah.
And I remember the first thing I thought was like, black guys calling themselves gangsters? That's different. I remember thinking at the time, I was in high school at the time, like, I've never heard this before. I've never heard of non-mafia guys referring to themselves as gangsters. I thought this was specifically an Italian mafia.
Now, mind you, Vlad is not one of us. Now, I'm only saying that to say, I want us to really think about, as us, how the others actually look at when we, display ourselves and depict ourselves in certain fashions and modes in life. That's it. They don't see it the way we do. They don't get the nuance of it. I have come across people who want to integrate themselves within our culture, but just don't get how we like use terminologies and words and everything else. You know, it's a lot of things that just seems to go over their head. So I have recognized that most definitely. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get back to this. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. The time right now is 11:17 a.m. East Coast Standard Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Much respect to you.
Yeah, kind of thing. But NWA had a hit song called Gangster Gangster, which then led to gangster rap. And you just started to see this more and more often. You know, 1992, Cool Rap had a song called On the Run, where he was basically talking about working for the mafia. Raekwon from Wu-Tang had a song called Wu Gambinos.
Mm-hmm.
And the album was actually supposed to be called Wu Gambinos. And I remember I did an interview with Steve Rifkin, who was the head of the label. His dad, you know who I'm talking
Roy
about.
Rifkin and Julie Rifkin.
Right. Roy Rifkin was a mafia affiliated guy.
And so was Julie.
Julie was what?
His brother. They had Spring Records, Julie and Roy Rifkin. Steve Rifkin was Julie Rifkin's son. I put Steve Rifkin to work on a movie.
Now, wait. Okay. So the way most of us would actually look at and or interpret a lot of these things, right? Now, mind you, it's clear as day that a lot of us have based the term gangster rap from gangsters. We know all kind of pictures. What do we got? Junior Mafia, right? Mafioso, all these things. People want to call themselves all kind of names, from a cartel to a mob to a mafia, the whole nine, right? Is what he just did snitching? Did he, like, see, listen, I need us to really recognize, like, when we get to saying certain things and just throwing terminologies and words all out the window. So when he said, oh yeah, like, I mean, he literally just, like, I think he even pointed a finger. He said him and his brother was part of the mob. Right. All right. And so when we do a whole bunch of pump faking and try to act like we not Blood, Crip, BD, GD, Lords, or anything else, you know what I'm saying? Like, And we say, no, we just an organization. So if one of our own came out and said that right there, would that be snitching? So all I want to know is, how do we look at these things when it is we try to emulate the others, and we look at the others as something so much better? You know, so like, yeah, like that's what we want to strive to be. And now I'm seeing that throughout our own community, right? There's no laws to snitching no more. It's a free for all. And so even from this right here, it's a free for all. Let's go ahead and keep on rocking out. Much respect to the family. Thank you all for tuning in. Just giving a quick diagnosis of what it is I just heard personally. He did exactly what it is that we complain that we won't do.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Well,
He made it big, by the way.
Yeah.
As you know.
yeah. I mean, Vlad TV was under SRC Loud Records for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all interconnected. Yeah, this is all. You and I have another degree of separation here that we just connected, right? But basically, what happened was they were supposed to call the album Wu Gambinos, which was under Loud Records,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Gambino family called Steve's dad and was like, "You need to cut this shit out." And they ended up they named the song Wu Gambinos, but they didn't name the album Wu Gambinos because it was like or else. And I remember I talked to Raekwon about this, and he was like, "Yep, that's pretty much what happened." Raekwon wanted to call the album, instead of Only Built for Cuban Links, he wanted to call it
Wu Gambinos.
But then a phone call came in from the actual Gambinos. Tell me about this.
My father called me. Somebody called him, and so they heard that, and they didn't want the name, to keep that name out.
Yeah, the Gambino Mafia, one of the 5 founders.
I mean, so that was, I don't know, like, I stayed out of that, and I told Ray. Well, I guess Ray says it in the book, or
yeah, right. It says in the book, yeah. Yeah, basically, you said like we can't use this name. And he's like, yo, we cannot use this name. What would have been the repercussions if you had used the name?
I wasn't taking a chance.
Now, I just want to even make it clear to the point of how serious, when you make yourself that serious, it's not about necessarily the fear. It's about the seriousness that comes behind what it is that you say, and how much people know that you stand on all 10 toes. And even if you got to put all 10 fingers into it, right? So
this was a conversation that I had with Rifkin. Yeah, Steve Pops, he was connected. He had a lot of relationships. So I remember me enforcing the title on Steve and saying, yo, this is what we want to call it. We want to call it Wu Gambinos. And he like, yo, I'm going to look into that. And I remember him coming back to me and saying, yo, it's not happening. I'm like, what you talking about? What do you mean it can't happen? Gambino men, what?
And you know what I wonder? I'm about to ask a very, very uncomfortable question. Is the mob more powerful than the entirety of the Black people here in America? Some people may say no. Some people may feel some kind of way. Some people know certain things. But it's a real question. Like, when I'm listening to this, and because you gotta think, right? When we listening to like Raekwon, he's part of one of our elites as far as like true street, from the gutter, get it out the mud, the whole 9. Like, everything we know the hood to be, he is one of many faces of true iconic version of it. And I give all homage and pay respect to that. Now, what it is that I'm more so focused on is, I want you to think about how long we all grew up and we thought like these guys were the top of the food chain. When we was growing up, do you think that we had any clue that that's what was going on? Huh? That's all I want to know. When we were growing up, how many of us knew that they had an issue with that? unless you was somebody that truly was one of those plugged in. You know, we wasn't, you know, they didn't put stuff like that in the double XL magazines and Word Up magazine. Yeah. Yeah, it's that far back. You know, they didn't word that stuff in there. They didn't put all of that in there. So it's like we looked at these guys, it's like they were like the top of the food chain. So it's like, I don't understand. Is it really a factor of we don't have as much power as we say we do? And if we actually do, for those who say we do, then why is it not being exercised till its full capacity? Now that's the real $1 million question. The time right now is 11:26 a.m. East Coast Standard Time, and I thank you all so much for tuning in. Much respect to the family. Let's get back to this video.
He was like, it's not gonna happen. I was like, you serious? He was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. You know, and he just told me like, yo, they not having that. And if they are having that,
fair use.
then you know what they having. Once he said that, we ain't having it. So the name automatically was dismissed. You know, and we started to think of what we wanted to call it.
Well, just so you know, Julie and Roy were with me and my dad.
Really?
Yes. Julie way back in 1983, he did the music for a movie that I produced, Knights of the City.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, yeah, not Knights of the City, was it? Yeah, Knights of the City, the couple of them. But he had said to me, can you put my son Steven to work? And I said, Julie, you're going to a big record label. You want me to put your son to work? Of course. And I put him to work on our film. And as a matter of fact, if you speak to him, he'll tell you, he was going after who's now my wife. You know, he was trying to make her his girlfriend back then. She's not my wife of 38 years, but he's a good kid, Stevie. He really was. I liked him a lot. And he's good friends now with Tommy Mottola from, you know Tommy, right?
Yeah, from Sony Records.
Sony Music, yeah. He's a good friend of mine.
It goes on and on, though, in terms of the Mafia influences. I mean, Master P had a album called The Last Dawn.
Well, listen.
You know,
when you think of gangster, I mean, we weren't the only gangster. Remember, the Irish were big back then, too. But
sure.
When you think of gangster, who is the most romanticized, played out? It's always the Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for some reason, you know, Hollywood took to that. I mean, you know, we have very colorful figures in our life, you know, between Al Capone and all the rest, we're leading right up to John Gotti. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So why wouldn't you copy the best?
Yeah.
If you want to be known as a gangster, a mafia. Listen, I don't care where you go, all over the world. It's all about mafia. I mean, I've been to Singapore. You got to know the questions that they ask me about, you know, mafia stuff that I'm saying, how do they know this on this side of the world?
Now, that is something that I can at least relate to on the correlation of when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to, Black American culture. You know, when I'm looking at, you know, people in very, very desolate areas talking about some what up, gang, gang, what up, gang, gang, you know, it opens my eyes to let me know we are being seen. And that's why I really started to get on that more so as close as I can get. Okay. I don't think I'm the best representation, but I try my best to make sure that I don't make us look stupid now. You know, when I realize how much that they see us and what's being heard all over the planet, just from right here in my one location, how many people across the world have heard what I've had to say? Now, I want you to take that and I want you to magnify it. Okay. Times 100. There are so many of us that we don't even realize because we think it's all about some numbers or something, you know. No, no. You are heard. What I'm saying right now is being broadcasted throughout planet Earth. The influence is real. What it is that you say, what it is that you express and how you express it, what it is that you record and what you choose to record, it's there, it's seen, it's heard. Even if you take it down, you cannot erase the memories of what people know they just heard and or seen. Okay? Hello, Instagram. You can't erase the minds of people. What we display, what we put out there into the universe, absolutely is always going to be a key factor into how things are viewed. So I want us to really, really think about something. Even though majority of backdooring, like, you know how we say backdoor, right? So we will speak about a backdoor plays out. All right, cool. And little do we know that a lot of these things have taken place first and foremost with the mob. It started with the mob before it started with anything. Like, you know, it was more mobsters that, you know, was driven to a nice quiet place near a bridge where the seagulls were flying and they took shots and sparked a cigar, and then the buddy in the back seat blew the best friend's brains out. Look, do we not understand how this works? What is the cap? What is the ceiling to what it is that we're capable of doing? And why is it that anything that we think that we're going to do, why do we put power in the hands of others? All right, so even if we were to speak about the mob, all right, let's talk about it in that fashion. You know what they have been able to do? Make a name for themselves. And I'm talking about true fashion to the point where you can't even name an album after them. If they say it's a no-go, it's a no-go. If it's no fly zone, it's no fly zone. Now I know we try to, you know, we got our little facet of that as far as you can't come and do a show here without, look, I really do want us to be on a mentality and a mind state of we are the greatest of the great. Because we truly are. Anything that is organized, anything that is structured came from the ideas and the process of what it is that we were able to produce. Now, others have produced it in their own facet and gave their own touch to it, as all cultures and races and religions and everything should. But we have definitely been such a very, very strong key factor in just how civilization is organized and constructed. You know, one day, just maybe, we will be able to actually truly wake up, because I believe that we one day woke up, but we realized that we were so woke that we were still asleep. That's what I believe. And we're still there. We so woke, we sleep. And there's so much going over our heads. You know, that's just a small example of what I'm playing right now as far as when it comes to how we actually are able to bring about, really bring about the structure of legacy. All right. Now, mind you, like, there's a lot of people who are within their race, within their culture, who can't stand anything that whatever, I guess, mafia, mob, the whole nine has to consist of. But there will always be a much so deep-rooted, profound respect because of how deep-rooted it has been organized. there is some levels in which I guess you can say gang culture has, or slang culture has played its part. The thing about it is that when it comes to it, though, the depiction, the end result of what is depicted overall is really, really more so where I am. For whatever reason, we just don't seem to know how to get to that pinnacle point in which no matter whether it's something illegal and we make it legal and wash that money clean, or whether it's something that has been clean money from the get-go, we need to figure out how to nip some things in the bud, right? And reestablish, because I definitely believe in the reestablishment of what it is that we once had and what it is that we do have. Because right now we have the world at our fingertips in every form of fashion that you can possibly ever think of. The world is at your fingertips, mine as well. It's not about access into certain clubs. In this world today, there is no need to ever think that you need to be a part of a club when we have more than enough of us to make our own club. There's no need to worry about the powers that be tearing down our clubhouse if we are part of the powers that be. Okay. It's too much that we are capable of doing. It's too much that you have right there at your fingertips. Right there at the tips of your toes. You have it right there before you. Now, well, what do you choose to do with, and or if anything at all, what it is that has presented before you? Will you overlook it? Will you ignore it? Will you procrastinate and say to yourself that, you know what, I can get to this tomorrow. I ain't got to really worry. Look, I get to it tomorrow. Is that you I'm talking to? I'm just curious. Because I know I'm talking to myself as well. That's why I've been trying my best on God's green earth to knock this stuff out on life. I'm talking about this work, like just knock it out. Because there's so much we can get done, and then we can be viewed in that organized structure. Now watch this. We don't even have to get along with each other too much. All we got to do is just show a united front when it comes to the overall work ethic and what it is that we demand. And guess what? I literally will be able to just be where I am. You can be where you are. And we all can just simply still get everything that we want and need. Okay. It's the reason why I pull up little videos like how nature works together, all the way down from like ants to like elephants, you see, and everything in between. Why? Because there's no reason for us not to be able to do it. We were constructed, we were formulated, our entire everything was designed to be able to know how to work together. And that's something that I just know is a fact. That's just how we were created. We were created in that mode. We talk about keeping the grass cut low for snakes, right? We'll talk about that a lot. And I hear that a lot. We'll talk about, man, keep the grass cut low for the snakes. All right, cool beans. But you know what snakes also do? Snakes from birth go off to themselves, although they were born in a group. So it's like we want to cut our grass from ourselves. I don't understand. What is it exactly? That's exactly what reptiles do. Reptiles generally for the most part, like once born, they go off to themselves. They're not nursed. They're not nourished. Reptiles generally have to learn life immediately on their own. You smell me now? Right? So we not snakes, right? I know we not. That question was rhetorical. We not snakes, of course we're not. But we just not realizing how we can say that all day and put up little memes and things that look cute and fun and say, keep your grass cut low and all of this other stuff. I mean, shoot, I even have my own saying, and it goes, when you shake hands with snakes, you wake up with scales. I get you. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But what exactly is going to be the final step into when we make the beginning steps, right? The final. What I mean by the final step to the beginning, as in, when is enough enough? I don't know when anybody's going to take time to think about these things. When is enough enough? I just want to know this. Please, somebody tell me. Y'all not sick of bitch and moaning, complaining about the same damn thing all the goddamn time? And our word I said is G-O-T, not the D. G-O-T. Y'all not sick of complaining about the same daggone thing all the time? So you know what I just kind of come to the conclusion of when I think about these things as we shift over into this segue with this one right here. Honestly, how much pain do you really want in your life? How much pain do you really actually enjoy? Do you enjoy it? What is it? Masochist, right? Right, sadistic and something masochist, and right. So you like pain? You like it? Do you like to be cussed out? You like going places where people just talk real nasty about you and your own? I've thought this thought to myself even. And then I realized I came to the conclusion that it's neither. I love to study, and I'm willing to put myself in certain dangerous circumstances in order to get information needed. Almost like people that have to do information on erupting volcanoes, right? They have to, storm chasers. They have to put themselves in dangerous situations in order to get the information needed, right? So I'm doing the best that I can to try to study this shit, because I'm trying to figure out, what is it about us loving to, for the most part, keep on gravitating to what it is that we know is not the best for us? What is it about that? What is it about something in your mind clicks and say, you know what? I want to hear some hurtful shit. What's crazy, like me, right? I had to catch myself. I was trying to figure out. Now, this is wild, right? Now, watch this. I do not like horror movies. I'm not a horror movie fan. I don't like scary movies. One, they're cheesy. And I'm tired of people tripping up when running, because if you get caught after the trip up, the movie's over for me. Movie's over for me, right? But I ain't gonna lie, I like to watch cartel stories. And I shouldn't have to say too much after that. If anybody knows about those what happens when you cross the cartel type of stories, I be on that shit, but I don't like to watch horror movies. So even for myself, I get to thinking, as much as it is that I love peace, what is it about it that draws me to wanting to watch cartel videos? And what I had to recognize is that is that balanced scale of the positive and negative, that yin and the yang that dwells within us all. All of us have that yin and the yang. See, it's all about the balance. So you know how I balance that out? Even if I do watch a video about it and it's very gruesome, I click off and I have an entire environment around me that totally counteracts that. Is it healthy? No, it's not healthy. I still can't explain to you what is it that draws me to want to see these videos and what the cartel does when they catch people who are ops. I'll tell you right now, you YNs really think you gangsters. Yeah. I don't think y'all really know what it's like to actually. Yeah, it's a little different over there. It's a lot different, but I actually it's a profound respect for how deep and far the mind can go. So when we're speaking about you as a person, right? What is it in you, whatever it is that you know your unhealthy habits are? What is that in you? What is it? Can you identify it? Can you call it out? Can you recognize it when it's surfacing? Yeah, when it's starting to bubble and you know that, yeah, I'm about to be on one. I'm about to be on one. You know how to recognize it? And when it does show face, do you do everything that you can to try to put it back in that box? You know, that jack in the box? Right? Or do you allow it to what do you allow it to do? You see? The moral of the story is that there is always going to be two sides to the coin of every single person that walks this planet Earth. Every last one of us who rotates in this aqua marble that floats in the blackness of nothing, but it's filled with everything. You will always have a duality in your life. You will always have a fork in the road, just as much as you may keep a fork in your hand. You know, I recognized very, very, very quick in my life that any direction that I go in, there's always going to be the same obstacles, but the obstacles will show themselves in different forms and shapes, languages and fashions, but it's the exact same obstacle. Inside of you is a duality. Inside of you is something that's supposed to be represented. What do you represent? What do you stand for? Go back to it. What do you stand for? What do you represent? Do you see who you truly are? I just wonder that. And if you do not, if you was to say out of 100% of yourself, I want you to think about this right now. What is your age? Don't tell me. Tell it to yourself. Okay, your age. How much of yourself out out of 100% would you say that you know and or have gathered at the age that you are? Please do not think that there is anybody who should have the number be 100 fallacy. But what percentage number are you? Whatever your age is, how much of you do you know at this day, at this moment, at this time, while listening to my voice? Now, okay, cool beans. How much of you do you feel as if you still need to learn? But more than that, what about yourself do you think that you still need to learn? What is it? What is it that you're lacking? You know, we're really good at speaking about certain conversations and saying, what do you bring to the table, right? Okay, cool beans, meaning as in bring to the table. Those are the strengths. Okay, watch this. I'm going to propose a brand new question. What about you is current in your life that would take away from the table? What is it about you that might be a hindrance to the both of us acquiring true love and peace? What would that be? Do you know what that would be? What is it inside of you? You should know what's inside of you, right? Because you know yourself, right? Don't you? Doesn't the world tell you who you are? Or do you tell you who you are? So what is it? What is it that you would bring to the table that actually would take away from the table? Everybody always just wants to talk about our strengths. You know what? I'm really good at working with strengths. I need to know what the weaknesses are. What do you got a hard time with? What are those hurdles in your life you just, for whatever reason, just can't seem to get through? What is that? What you got a hard time with? Is it patience? What is it? Looking at different point of views and not getting all in your feelings? What do you have a hard time with? Do you have a hard time with you want to be with somebody who's fit and active, but you don't want to be fit and active? What is it that you look for? Do you want somebody to just simply keep you company, but yet you stay miserable? What exactly are you looking for in your life? Are you looking for yourself, or are you looking for you through others? It's just a question for you to just simmer. Let that marinate. Let it soak in them juices. Let it sit. Let it roast. Let it slow cook. What exactly are you looking for? Is it love or yourself? Let me ask that question again. What exactly are you looking for? Is it love or yourself? Huh? Because if you think that you're going to find anything that you want to be of significant value in your life before you find yourself, before you acquire it, either you will get it and you won't keep it, or you will never get it, or you will never know that it was in your face in the first place. Where's the lie? That's all I want to know is, where is the lie? Much respect to the family. You won't even be able to recognize what's going on in front of you because you've never taken time to figure out what's going on inside of you. Figure you out. Learn yourself. It's really just a very, very basic, simple message. Right? No, one thing I've learned is that as I've gone deeper into my life, because, like, for example, I have, man, the stories I have. Like, for example, I remember growing up, and I remember I used to have to always go pick my sister up. Always go pick up baby sis. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, during that time, I was in between 6th and 8th grade. So this is in between the end of elementary school and through middle school. So I'm picking up baby sis every day from the babysitters. All right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm mini dad. That's right. I was mini dad. Dad at work, mom at work. I got to pick up baby sis. So I go down the street. I go over to the babysitter house. It's her and the rest of the little kids. They playing. I'm the big brother. And I always pulled up on my bike. I had my mountain bike. You know what I'm saying? I had a mongoose mountain bike. Mongoose mountain bike. Because they can make mountain bikes too. So I had one of those. And I went on ahead. I used to pick her up. And I always had this little basket in the front of my bike so I can ride her on the handlebars and stuff. All right, boom. So we on our way home. And I remember throughout that travel, how much it gave me the duality of what life consisted of at such a young age. Off rip, as soon as I was doing that, that was the first indication of I am to be of servitude. I am to be of some form of worth to somebody in some form of fashion. So now this whole rabbit hole opens up. So it just went from me riding my sister on handlebars and getting her back to the house, then having to take care of her, make her lunch, get her little Lunchables and everything she like out the fridge and things, because she was only like 5. I think I'm about like 10 or 12 or something, right? So, yeah. So we just, But throughout this time, throughout that whole time, man, if only you guys knew how much, like I really recognize, you got to know how to do this. And what is this? It's called life. You got to know how to do this life. In such a very, very chill, peaceful way. I was placed into in an environment where I had to actually be the man of the house. Both parents gone, right? And we got 4.5 hours or something. Cause I would, it's 2, they get home around 7, something like that. And you got to think in the winter time, that fall and winter in the school year, school days, bro, it gets dark 5. So we in the house full pitch black at night. You know what I'm saying? I had to be on some guard duty, turn the lights on and everything. And then see, look, this was my method, right? I'm gonna tell y'all my method. I was on some Home Alone stuff. So my method was any corner that was dark, turn the hall light on. Boom. Shine that up. So we ain't got no dark spaces. All right. Open all the doors. Right. So every day my peoples would come home. No bull, I'm dead ass. Every day they come home, all the doors would be open. Except the front, side, basement door. But I'm talking about like closet door, bathroom, everything was open. And I would turn all the lights on in the house. And then I would turn on every TV. So we had about 3 TV. No, we had 4 TVs. Okay. All right. My parents' room, downstairs, and then me and my sister's rooms. Right. Me, my siblings. So boom. So we got 4 TVs. Every TV was on. Every light was on. Every door was open. Okay. All right. And that was how I kept her from not being scared, because everything was lit up and everything was open. There was nothing dark. You can't, there's no shadow spots. That's all I had. That's how I did that. Like dead ass serious. Right. And it was dope. It was pretty dope. And we still laugh about that to this day, man. When I get a chance to talk to her. As a matter of fact, she's actually here. My sister is here from Japan. Yep. She back in town for a little bit. I don't know when she going back, but she's home for a little bit. Shout out to sis. But nah, she remember that. That's how I used to work it. But my point is, and what I'm saying is, that right there, like I'm only like, I don't know, like 12, something like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to do. So that's all I knew what to do. And then I would like blast music. That's right. I forgot about that last part. All right. So on the last part, right, I would actually go ahead and I would blast music. Yeah, I would blast music. And that's what I would do. Yeah. So all the TV's on, all the lights is on, all the doors is open, and I would blast some music until my parents got home. That's how we worked it. You know what I mean? And she was fine. And she'll sit in the room. She'll watch TV, stuff like that. You know what I mean? 1 out of 4 that's on in the house, pick one. They all on. Take a channel. So I just like to go ahead and make sure that I keep in it, you know what I'm saying, a certain perspective and headspace of how we think, how we operate, right? I know we started off with Raekwon and the mob and everything else, but like honestly though, you know me, I like to segue. 1 second. So I always do. I always be thinking about that. Like, what's the cap? And when it comes to what it is that we think power is, I told that story primarily, little entertainment, but at that time I had a little bit of power in the house. I had some structure. That was my first taste of what it's like to be in control of something. But not just that, that was also my first taste simultaneously of knowing what it's like to have someone to take care of. I had to take care of her. Like I had to make her a turkey and cheese sandwich or grilled cheese if that's what she wanted. Like I had to do that. You know what I mean? Like I had to get her like a Ziploc bag full of Teddy Grahams and grapes if that's what she wanted. You know what I mean? Like I had to do that for sis. And I remember that. And there were many times I failed miserably. I will never forget the day I almost burnt the house down. That's right. I almost burnt the house down. Yep, almost burnt the house down because I forgot I had turkey bacon on. That's right. I almost burnt the house down off of turkey bacon. That's right. Sis wanted some turkey bacon. I said I wanted some too. All right. And I went on ahead and I did it the wrong way. I didn't know you were supposed to put some oil in the pan because I didn't recognize the difference between turkey bacon and real bacon at the time. And I didn't realize real bacon brings about its own oil. So you really don't have to do that. You just got to put it in the pan. It's going to make the pan greasy by itself. I didn't realize with turkey bacon, you have to actually either kind of spray some Pam or you got to like, you know what I'm saying, actually hit the olive oil and, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you get that good ring of grease around the pan. I had no clue. Man, I went on ahead and put that turkey bacon in there real dry. Then I turned the flame up all the way because I thought I was going to hurry up and do it because she kept on pressing me. I had no clue of what I was doing at the time. Now, here it is. I got the house on fire. all kinds of smoke alarms going on. Thank goodness for great neighbors. That's right. The neighbors had to come across. And stuff to help out. I went on ahead and called moms at work. I don't know if anybody remembers the days of when you would walk home from school. Does anybody remember that? Walking home from school. And when you got home from school, you went home by yourself and you had to call your peoples at work to let them know you got home safe. Yeah, every day. To this very day. And I don't mind saying it out loud because you can dial it if you want to. You're going to go to a voicemail. But I remember for over, man. I ain't playing, man. I'm dead ass. Like even in high school when I didn't have to, it was just so a habit. I dialed 202-879-3862. Every day I got home from school. Every single day. Every day I got home from school, I dialed that number. I dialed 202-879-3862. And I tell her about my day. Everything good. I'm all right. She'll tell me if a teacher called, you know what I'm saying? And I give an excuse as to why I forgot my homework again, right? Because that was a big thing with me. I was one of those, like, I would do the work, but, like, never turn it in. And I don't understand it, right? Like, no bull. Like, I was just one of them. Like, I would actually do the work. Like, I do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was trust. But I just, like, for some dumb reason, I always forgot to take it with me. And I did all that work the night before. I think it was because I wasn't always a morning person. You know something? I've never been a morning person. I don't know. Is anybody else like that? Never been a morning person. I'm one of them people. I don't know if you're the same way, but it's like when I wake up, don't try to wrap me up at first, please. Please. I'm talking about this has been since, possibly since I was like, as young as I can remember is maybe 7, 8 years old. Don't try to wrap me up when I first get up. You need to give me at least till I get my cream of wheat with honey and some tea. That's as a kid, because that was my sugar cereal. Okay. All right. I was one of them kids. We didn't get Captain Crunch. We didn't get all of the extra stuff. I didn't get all of that. No, I didn't get Cocoa Puffs. Sweet cereal to me was oatmeal and honey with enough butter, or cream of wheat and honey with enough butter. That was about it, and a sprinkle of salt. If it was a sweet cereal, the best we got was a Fruity Loops or a Honey Nut Cheerios. That was it. I never had Cookie Crisp in the house. I wanted it so bad. So bad. Never had Cookie Crisp. That ass. You see? Why? Because it was all about health. You know what I'm saying? Like, so really. But I remember those days. I do. Yeah. I actually remember the days of, when you be riding and you be like, ooh, McDonald's. And they're like, nah, we got McDonald's in the house. What that mean? That means like you gonna get this. You gonna get this Murray's patty. That's right. You gonna get this Murray's patty on square wheat bread. That's right. On square wheat bread. Okay. If we got some lettuce and stuff in the house, I got you. All right. So, I come from the days of having to be denied. See, this is why I don't complain too much. I don't know, because I don't get that either. People complaining about shit all the time. I don't get people that like to complain. Do you like to complain? He like to just like kind of bitch moan and cry and whine about shit all the time. I'm really not with it. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not with it. Now, I will express a grievance. Now, we need to make sure we get this all the way straight. There is a difference between expressing a grievance and just bitch whining, crying and moaning and complaining about some dumb shit. There definitely is. I have learned throughout my life, my peace is primarily contingent upon how much I don't allow the stupid shh to get to me. That's primarily where it comes from. You know, I noticed that I've noticed that the more I actually give energy and pulsation to things that don't deserve it. Like, you know what? Watch this. I like this. See, this is why I love nature. So I'll give this analogy. All right. With plants, right? All right. So let's look at the plant is in the soil. I'm talking about house plants. And then you have water that you water it with. So the water is the energy. Do you know why it's so important to prune a plant, right? You know why it's so important to trim a plant? Because what you're doing is you're removing the unnecessary places where the nutrients will rise up into. So I want you to look at, like, for example, in your life, all of the like brown, dead, slumped over leaves and stems of that house plant. And then you got the rest of the ones that's very, very green and flourishing. And you can even see the new growth coming up in through other parts, right? Especially with like lilies and things of that nature, right? I want you to look at that as like removing everything negative. In order to go ahead and make sure that you continuously have a flourishing, like a truly, truly flourishing headspace of thought, creativity, new ideas, right? Healthy thoughts, like actual positive thoughts throughout your day. That has a lot to do with how much do you prune the dead stems and leaves and debris in your mind. It has a lot to do with staying tapped in and open. I want us to really think about what's taking place right now. I want you to think about what's taking place, not with the world. No, don't you take time to think about what's taking place with the world. I want you to take time to think about what's taking place with you. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to end it off on this note. Okay. I have a show I'm going to be doing. So you all make sure that you stay tuned for this show. It's going to be a very, very special show. All right. It's going to feature one of our own. I'm not going to say any names just yet, but shout out. I just want to make sure everything is in coordination. Right? Okay, now. But let me go ahead and pull something up for you real quick, so we can go ahead and see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's do it. Okay, let me see what we got right here. So, I want to make sure that I got this all the way straight. All right, y'all ready? Thank you for your patience. I appreciate everybody. Let me go ahead and do this. Boom, 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 boom. 1 second. I know. There we go. Appreciate y'all. Now let's go ahead and pull this up. We're going to listen to this. And then we're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. Does anybody know the old saying that's called "you are what you eat"? Do you? Are you familiar? You are what you eat. You become what you think of. Your world is molded into what it is that you see it to be. Have you not ever seen yourself somewhere that you are today long before you got there? How do you think you got there? Respect to you.
True years in the gym. True wins, true losses, true life. I just realized that if you say it to yourself and you look yourself in the eye and look yourself in the mirror and truly believe that not a man alive can beat you, then that is the way it is.
How to get whatever you want. Here's what it says if you're ready. It says, ask.
I was blind, but now I see.
It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe.
Energy flows where attention goes.
Most of the limitations we have do not exist in reality. They exist only in your own mind. And one of the starting points of great achievement is to start questioning those self-limiting beliefs and throw them off and act as if they did not exist.
Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions. Do you know what's there? Waiting beyond that beach. Immortality. Take it. It's yours.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself.
You can begin right now to feel healthy. You can begin to feel prosperous. You can begin to feel the love that's surrounding you, even if it's not there. And what will happen is the universe will correspond to the nature of your song. The universe will correspond to the nature of that inner feeling and manifest because that's the way you feel.
Whatever you want to do, believe it, even if you don't believe. Play the game of belief. It's not about the future. Oh, I'm going to do something next year. It doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Next hour does not exist. It's all potential. But what we can do is drag the time into the present, now, into the solar plexus. Act as if you believe. That is power, and it will happen. Believe you me. It's worked in my life. It will work in yours.
I just kept the faith. I kept believing. I kept asking. I kept wanting. God got great life for you, man. But you're going to have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, you're going to have to believe it. After you believe it, you got to put your work in.
The only thing standing between you and your goal is the story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it.
No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
As a man thinketh. You have the power to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. Don't underestimate yourself. You don't know enough about yourself to become a cynic. And so you've got to challenge yourself to access that power that you have within you. You're more than a conqueror.
Wherever focus goes, energy flows. But when you focus on something continuously, something magical happens. You get insights, don't you? You overhear a conversation, you hear something you wouldn't have heard if you didn't have that outcome or goal that you wanted so badly.
A man is literally what he thinks. His character is the complete sum of all his thoughts. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. As he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains.
Chest, feet, and
nothing bigger than myself. My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul. One unified field.
All that matters is how you see yourself. If you see yourself as the king, you know what I mean? You see yourself with all the belts and all everything. And no matter what no one else says, as long as you see that and really believe in it, then that's what's going to happen. You're against yourself. I believe in myself so much that nothing is going to stop me.
Here's the big challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got.
Sit down, decide what you want, write it on a card, carry the card in your pocket, and read it as often as possible every day. I found if you write a lie on a card and you read it often enough, you're going to start to believe it. And you know, William James, back around the turn of the century, he said, believe, and your belief will actually create the fact. Doesn't matter what's happened in the past. You may not have a colorful background, and maybe you have. You may not have a lot of formal education, and maybe you have. But it really doesn't matter. If you've got a goal and you're willing to stick to it and study the laws, you're going to find out that you can win.
Ask with faith. That's the childish part of the equation. Believe you can get what you want like a child, not an adult. Adults are too skeptical. So the formula really reads, make plans like an adult and believe in them like a child.
Most people don't use their imagination constructively. Most people use their imagination destructively. They imagine what they don't want. We've got to consciously and deliberately imagine what we do want. If we will take and sit down with a pen and ask ourselves, what do I really want? What do I really want? And write it down. And then make a written description of it in the present tense. Writing causes thinking. Thinking creates an image. And you get these images going, you're building a vision in your mind.
I'm here to plant a seed today. A seed that will inspire you to move forward in life with enthusiastic hearts and a clear sense of wholeness. The question is, will that seed have a chance to take root?
Ask with intelligence. It didn't say ask intelligently, but I'm sure it meant that. Don't mumble. You don't get anything by mumbling. Be clear, be specific. Intelligent asking means how wide, how high, how soon, when, what size, what color, how much. Define what you want and describe what you want. That's powerful. In the weekend seminar we teach, goals become like a magnet. They pull you that direction, and the better you describe them, the more they pull.
Let me tell you something about life and the law of attraction. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you expect. Wishing is passive. Expectation is belief in motion. If you walk like it's yours, talk like it's yours, work like it's coming, the universe starts moving things in your direction.
One of the fastest ways to create something in your physical reality is to reverse the normal process by which we create things. Usually we create things first by thinking about it. In fact, everything in this room was once a thought. There is nothing that was not once a thought in someone's mind somewhere. But if you want to really play tricks with the universe and create magic with the stuff of life itself, reverse the thought, word, deed paradigm. Turn it upside down and start with the deed. That is to say, act as if. If you want to experience abundance, be abundant and do as abundance does. If you have only $5 left to your name, go to a store and get them made into singles. Take 5 singles and walk down the street and give a single to each of 5 people who have even less than you do. And by the way, you will find those people very easily.
Before you go to sleep every night, visualize yourself being, doing, and having the good which you desire. Because while you are asleep, your conscious mind is in abeyance for a longer period of time than at any other period in your daily life. And when you impress the subconscious just before going to sleep, the subconscious works with that idea that you've given it, even while you're asleep. And whatever idea you lift up before your subconscious mind, before you go to sleep, that idea is impressed upon the subconscious and it draws that to you. You'll wake up in the morning and the right ideas will just be clicking in your head.
That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years. It's the law of attraction.
But here's the key. The law of attraction doesn't work without the law of action. Thoughts are powerful, but actions are what prove you're serious. See it in your mind, feel it in your heart, but build it with your hands. The future you want is already out there, waiting. But it's not coming to meet your excuses. It's coming to meet your effort. So dream big, speak bold, and move like the universe is watching, because it is.
Because here again, when you learn how to believe correctly about yourself and to know what you are entitled to, it just comes to you automatically.
What if you can create your
unique process, mental and emotional. I don't even know how it works. All I know is it works. It's like pushing a button and all this machinery starts working. I don't know how. It just works. There's a lot of things you don't need to know how. Just work them.
Visualize it, but also feel it. Like feel yourself there. Close your eyes, smile to yourself, and feel yourself there. And believe me when I say you can manifest that. I know you think I'm crazy, but it's the joke in life. I'm telling you, it's the joke in life. You can't go to places physically until you go there emotionally and in your mind first. Then once you're there, you're ready. But when you hold on to the negative thoughts, it's like walking around with all this baggage and luggage. Who needs that shit, really?
Don't chase your dream, manifest it. You chase your dream, you're never gonna catch it. Just manifest it, put your trust in a higher source, and it'll manifest in your life. It's called prayer. You can call it yoga, meditation, whatever name you want to put on it, but you definitely want to implode within yourself and get in that higher source and let him turn the faucet on so you can get wet.
Literally, what you're thinking will manifest. It's not only if you conceive it, you can achieve it. It's if you conceive it, it will be achieved. It's a function of time and your own belief system. So how much resistance, impedance are you going to put against the positive dreams and aspirations that you have that are in line with your higher self and what you've chosen for your life plan? I can tell you right now, one of the first things you can do to raise your vibration is just to feel gratitude for your current state. We all get stuck. I get asked all the time, like, if you give one message to the world, what would it be? And I would say, stop with the negative self-narratives. Stop with the self-limiting belief systems. It's not necessary. Just remember who you are and why you're here.
Write down your top 10 to 15 goals in the present tense, as though you have already achieved them. For example, you would not say, I will earn this amount of money. You say, I earn this amount of money. I drive this car. I weigh this amount. Your subconscious mind is only activated by commands that are stated in the present positive personal tense. The more specific you can be in terms of what you want and when you want to achieve it, expressed in the positive present tense and beginning with the word I, the more powerful the effect will be on your subconscious mind. Goals written and stated in this way activate the laws of expectation and the law of attraction.
Well, they have to believe in themselves. You see, I don't teach people to believe in a God in the sky or to believe in just simply a God in me, but the God that is within.
Asking is the beginning of receiving, so start the process. Here's number 2. Receiving is not the problem. Receiving is automatic. Now, if that's true, receiving is not the problem, what's the problem? Failure to ask might be one of your major problems. The guy says, oh, now I see it. I got up last year and hit it every day, but there's not a scrap of paper with my goals on it. Good work, poor ask.
Most people set a goal and then wait for it to happen. It's never going to happen. You've got to assume that it's already happened. Mentally, it's already happened. It's happened because I've got the idea in my conscious mind. Then I've got to get emotionally involved in it. I've got it intellectually, I've got it emotionally. It's only a period of time till it moves into form. How does it move into form? Well, you attract whatever's required for it to move into form. You attract all the energy that's necessary to produce the physical result. How do you do that? You do that by intellectually and emotionally staying in the vibration of the good that you desire. You see it already in the present tense. So that keeps you on the frequency, and that frequency then dictates what you're going to attract. You can only attract to you what's in harmonious vibration with you.
Then I realized the power of the mind.
Everything you could ever ask for, you could ever have now, or ever ask for in the future, you already have right now. You already have all of it. You simply are not experiencing it. Because everything that has ever happened is happening now, and ever will happen is happening right now. And so it is for you merely to reach into the sea of infinite possibilities and call forth the reality you choose now to experience. And you do this, you call forth from the sea of infinite possibilities the reality you choose to now experience through three devices mainly: thought, word, and action. Now, if what you say is, please give me what I need today to survive, you will have a struggle acquiring what you need today to survive, because the statement comes from a deep underlying thought that you do not now have that, or you wouldn't be asking for it.
Can you teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like before it happens? And when you begin to fall into the present moment and marry those intentions with an elevated emotion, your body is believing it's living in that future reality in the present moment, and you're changing your biology from living in your past present reality to living in your future present reality. And your job then is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. And if you can, get ready, because something unusual is going to happen in your life. It's the law.
I'm going to have to upset you a bit right here. You are not going to get anywhere in life, spiritually or otherwise, until you come to that point where you don't give a damn what people think about you.
You must assume that you already are what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption. You don't need evidence of your senses. You have a tendency to believe that what your eyes and ears tell you is reality. But this is what we know by our senses. You know, it's like a millionth of a millimeter. And all that is unknown is in the invisible, in the imagination. You'll see it when you believe it, not the other way around. People will say, well, I'll believe it when I see it. It doesn't work that way. You'll see it when inside you have a knowing. And most of our attention is focused on, this is my beliefs and my disbeliefs about what is possible and what isn't possible are here. And it's an endless universe.
Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same, and your personal reality would be the same as well. If you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality. You catch yourself complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for yourself, and that's been your unconscious program. Then the moment you become conscious of those unconscious behaviors, you're out of the program. The act of becoming so conscious that you don't go unconscious is a changing of consciousness. To become so conscious of your unconscious self, to know thyself so well that you don't default back to that old personality.
Job. But things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself to qualify. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. Here's what we teach in leadership. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive.
And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you can multiply your value by 3, by 5, you can easily multiply your income by 3, by 5, by 10. But the key to doing it is to work hard on yourself.
For 21 days, we want you to keep your mind on what you want, but off of what you don't want. Keep your conversation on what you want. Keep your conversation off of what you don't want. Keep your dreams, your imagination, your thoughts, your feelings, everything in your environment consistent with what you desire, and keep it off of what you don't want. Now, why do we pick 21 days? Well, a very good reason. See, it takes 21 days for a chicken that has a brain the size of a pea to sit patiently, calmly, faithfully on an egg to hatch the egg. Now, we feel that if a chicken with a little brain like that can sit on an egg for 21 days without seeing any change, just in faith, then we could probably ask adults who have brains that are the size of 3 pounds, that have 12 to 20 billion cells, and have the capacity to remember and retain all the knowledge known to man, if their brain could be tapped, we ask them to keep at it for 21 days. If you will go on a positive mental attitude diet for 21 days, keep your mind on it. The goal is to become what we call a purely positive person.
What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create.
I'm able to visualize and dream like nobody's business. And I know that I can create a vision that many people can't. And I work for it.
Let's say how to make something manifest that you want. If this is the case, then for me, starting very easily again, it starts with the smallest area inside of yourself. It starts with the smallest aspect. Let's just take it as the world of thoughts. But the world of thoughts is not graspable. The only one who knows about it is yourself. So wanting to manifest something is now the question, how can you start expressing what you feel deep inside of yourself in such a way that the world of forms start to mirror it?
That by starting off every day with this simple little exercise and saying to himself, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. That this little exercise changed his whole attitude, that he went through the whole day with the attitude of somebody with a confident self-expectancy, that everything that happened during the course of the day, he thought, maybe this is something wonderful that's going to happen to me. And you know that if you will do this, if you will say before you go to sleep, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And if you'll say when you get up in the morning, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And if all day long you say, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me, you'll find that as you go to sleep the next night, and try this today, it's a very powerful exercise. It sounds a little bit corny, but it's a very powerful exercise. If you'll try it, you'll find that when you go to sleep, you will not be able to think of all the wonderful things that happen to you. You'll just be surprised that your parking spaces will open up and friends will call and you'll get checks in the mail. Just your life will be a series of really positive, happy experiences.
Listen, this is to anybody who's watching this. Subscribe to Inspired by Florian.
I digress. My mic is muted.
It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in there.